Hello.
Everybody, and welcome to Friday Night Highlights. I'm your host, Maggie Reed, also known as Mermaidmama Maggie. We have a very special show for you tonight because we are facing a crisis in our country. And what a week it's been. It's been quite the week. What is that sound?
Yeah, what's the sound?
I don't know. I don't know what it is. Extreme yard being weird. Or somebody echoing.
Oh wait, I think I know what it is. It's
someone's echoing. Someone's other.
Someone is
Sound of
playing
your
in the
person.
background.
What do you mean?
Crisis in our country.
Yeah, someone's echoing
Sorry,
while
everybody, we're
we're.
experiencing some technical difficulties. Hang on 1 second. All right, everybody mute your mics for a second. Let's figure this out.
Okay.
Okay, I'm back on. Go.
I'm back on too.
Okay, Amp,
I'm back on.
I'm back.
Jonathan. But Jonathan's not here yet. Okay.
I'm back.
Big Bird Mom.
I was muted the whole time, but
Okay. Lord
It wasn't
Timothais.
me, was it?
No, I don't think so. I don't know.
Okay.
Well, whatever the problem is, it seems to have gone away. So we're just going to start again. All right. Well, welcome to our show, everybody. We have a lot to talk about. Obviously, we have had a huge week in politics. There is many things to discuss, but the first thing I want to get to is introducing this amazing panel that we have here tonight. And I'm going to start out with an amazing guy, food expert. Please introduce yourself and your page on TikTok.
Hello, everybody. I am a food expert, and I come from California, but I'm traveling right now around the world. I'm in Albania currently, and I try crazy foods. I try to, show different cultures, and I'm recently into politics, and that's what I do for my Stream with Bert channel. So I've got 3 different YouTube channels: Drink Expert and Food Expert, and also Stream with Bert. So anyways, that's what I do. I travel the world for the most part, and I do these amazing live streams with all of you guys.
Awesome. All right, next we have the American Moderate, or we will probably be calling him AMP at some point.
That works. All right. Yeah, nice to be here. This is the first one I've been on. As you can see, my Secretary of State right here is in the background. That's Mac. So, yeah, thanks for having me on here. The American Moderate Party, the whole idea is to have a third party that represents a lot of people that we might not have coverage for right now. We have the 2 polar opposites. So that's sort of what I'm about. And for the most part, this past year was spent trying to get rid of Donald Trump. So that's what I've been working on.
Woo! A very nice goal. I approve. And next we have the BrainDaddy YT.
Hi, I'm the BrainDaddy YT, or temporarily known on TikTok as Hey Bud. I forgot. Okay.
Hey Bud, you good?
Hey Bud, you good? Yeah. Which, if you guys don't know who found my catchphrase, she's actually on the show tonight. Big weird mom over there. I didn't know I ever said that so much, but she's the one who discovered it. But yeah, so I just make political content on TikTok. I try to be funny, sometimes informational, I guess. So yeah, that's me. Fun. Bud.
Well, welcome, BrainDaddy YT, or Hey Bud, you're good. Next we have Mr. Jahko.
Hey everyone, my name is Mr. Jahko. In real life, my name is Jahkori. So my content on TikTok, I basically do Black history and people of color. Any people of color, I do their history. I teach about inclusion, diversity and inclusion. And recently I've been doing a lot of political things based on the results of this election. And yeah, that's basically it.
Awesome. Your content is so great. Next, we have Jonathan from Some People Like It.
What's up, guys? I'm Jonathan. Some people like it on TikTok, Twitter, And now on Twitch. I don't know if you're off Twitch, but follow me. I'm starting from 0 on Twitch, so I need followers.
Ooh.
But political humor, sometimes angry commentary, sometimes a lot of dog content, which is always good. Some people like it on all platforms, so follow me.
True.
And some people like it. That was a joke. Okay. Next we have the Big Weird Mom.
Hey everyone, I'm the Big Weird Mom, and I am, I guess, the creator of the Hey Bud catchphrase. And that was kind of like the start of my following, I think, was when I made that compilation for you. Since then, I have come to fame on TikTok by reading really disturbing posts on Parler. So, as you can imagine, my page has been getting a lot of traffic in the last couple of days, which is kind of why, we decided that I should be here this week, even though I unfortunately do not have sitters for my kids. So just a disclaimer here, Maggie and I thought that it was really important for my voice to be heard this week. So I just ask for your patience. I've got 2 little ones in the house, and I'm going to stay on mute as much as I can.
I appreciate you being here. Your voice is definitely needed this week. And last but certainly not least, we have Lord Timothais.
Bringing up the rear, I see. So listen, Big Weird Mom, before I start Big Weird Mom, you know what? Kids in the background is fine. At least it shows that you're not being piped in from some QAnon conspiracy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I am Lord Timothais. I got my start on TikTok exposing racists and racist posts and content on social media. I have a Timmy Nation foundation, TimmyNationInc.org foundation that you can send racist stuff to if you need help exposing it. And as you can see, there's a lot that needs exposing. So that's who I am. Welcome.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here, Lord Timothais.
Sure.
All right, you guys, we are going to get right into it. Let's talk about January 6th. I think that day will probably live in infamy for ever and ever now. So I'm going to show you a fairly long clip that kind of summarizes everything that happened that day, and then we're going to get into a discussion, okay?
Sweet.
I hope Mike is going to do the right thing. I hope so. I hope so. Because if Mike Pence does the right thing, we win the election.
Are there any objections to counting the certificate of vote of the state of Arizona that the teller has verified appears to be regular in form and authentic?
Mr. Vice President, I, Paul Gosar from Arizona.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Arizona rise?
I rise up for myself and 60 of my colleagues to object to the counting of the electoral ballots from Arizona.
We will never give up. We will never concede. It doesn't happen. You don't concede when there's theft involved. Our country has had enough. We will not take it anymore, and that's what this is all about. And to use a favorite term that all of you people really came up with, we will stop the steal.
This election were overturned by mere allegations from the losing side, our democracy would enter a death spiral.
For those who respect the voters, simply telling the voters, go jump in a lake, the fact that you have deep concerns is of no moment to us. That jeopardizes, I believe, the legitimacy of this and subsequent elections.
We'll pause.
Protesters are in the building.
Thank you.
Without objection, the chair declares the House in recess pursuant to Clause 12B of Rule 1.
in the water. We the people!
Yep. I call on this mob to pull back and allow the work of democracy to go forward. You've heard me say before in different contexts, the words of a president matter.
It's a very tough period of time. There's never been a time like this where such a thing happened, where they could take it away from all of us, from me, from you, from our country. This was a fraudulent election, but we can't play into the hands of these people. We have to have peace. So go home. We love you. You're very special. You've seen what happens. You see the way others are treated that are so bad and so evil. I know how you feel, but go home and go home in peace.
The votes for President of the United States are as follows. Joseph R. Biden, Jr. of the state of Delaware has received 306 votes. Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida has received 232 votes.
Now Congress has certified the results. A new administration will be inaugurated on January 20th. My focus now turns to ensuring a smooth, orderly, and seamless transition of power.
Gross, right? When I look at those clips, I am immediately taken back to that day, and the anger, the fear, and all sorts of emotions that I felt that day. I want to kind of go around and hear about how you guys felt watching this unfold on that day. Let's start with Mr. Jahko. Can you tell me how you were feeling?
When I first saw it, I knew it was coming. Honestly, I saw all of this coming. I knew that something really big was going to happen because they were planning it for months, for weeks, for the whole 4 years. They've been planning this. They wanted Donald Trump to win so badly. They did this as an attempt to go in there to threaten these people so that they would not put those election results out there. And they knew that this was, what they thought was that their privilege was going to save them. That's what they thought. But they didn't see what was coming for them. They didn't see.
Honestly, their white privilege did save them, because if it was BLM or some other kind of group that was like a little bit like scary to these police, they would have been machine gunned down. I mean, like 1,000 people might have died. Kind of like, a little bit like
Bloody Sunday. Bloody Sunday.
Like Tiananmen Square. It would have been like that.
How about you, Jonathan? What kind of emotions were you going through watching this unfold that day?
Well, so a lot of it is along the lines of what Bert just said and Mr. Jahko just said. The privilege and the caucasity to think you can just walk into the Capitol building. So their mindset is one thing, but the Capitol Police waving videos of them waving them in. And I saw this new video that I was trying to do a TikTok on before we came on air that made me so furious. I had to delete it. I didn't want to post it because I was so angry making the TikTok where these protesters, and it's the video right before the lady got shot. I don't remember her name off the top of my head, Babbitt, the woman that was killed, the protester that was killed, where they are banging on. So there's a guard sitting in front of the door, and behind him and behind the door 10 feet away are legislators, representatives of the United States Congress. And these people are pounding and breaking the glass over the shoulder of a guard. And I'm thinking, George Floyd thought he had a fake $20 bill. It turns out it was a real $20 bill. Eric Garner was selling loose cigarettes. These guys are breaking windows 10 feet away from legislators, and that guard's just standing there. And I'm thinking, how are they not in on it? How is that not? I don't want people to die, but how do you not get shot? And how is that not a definition of treason or insurrection or sedition? what mental gymnastics, what wordplay do you have to use to say that that's not an attempted coup? And seeing that, my heart sank, because I've been calling it a clown coup this whole time, because I thought the authorities would do what authorities do. And they didn't. They waved him in. They let him break glass. They let him walk around the Capitol building, sit in Pelosi's chair, and walk out with their podium. And white
They took
supremacy has got
selfies
to be
with them.
dealt with. They took selfies with him.
Yes.
White supremacy in policing is our major social issue in this country right now, and we have to deal with it, and we have to stop pretending that these politicians that rile up these aggrieved white people who don't want to share a seat at the table with minorities are the problem. They need to be held accountable. And I'm pretty angry about it, and my anger hasn't dissipated too much, to be honest with you, because they're traitors, and there's no other way to put it.
Can I hop in on that real quick too? Because there was one video that I saw of the one guard going up the stairs, the African-American guards alone, going up the stairs backwards with a baton, trying to ward off all these rioters coming up the stairs. And it just harkens back to the dichotomy of what happened with the BLM, the Black Lives Matter protests in DC. And just the Lincoln Memorial looked like an arsenal, with people just ready to kill. And then there's this poor guy trying to defend our legislature with a baton. And you just feel horrible watching what he's trying to do against an angry mob alone. It's preposterous that is what occurred.
So what that guy was doing, the black security guard or policeman that was guiding them, he was guiding those guys to a room with other police officers, so he was going to be more safe himself. So he actually did a pretty good job on getting the people to follow him. I guess he was telling them, hey, don't come up here any further, don't come up. But they came up and kept on following him. They didn't split up and go up the stairs. He actually somehow kept them all in line. They kind of were organized as far as they want. The rioters or the looters or whatever you want to call these people.
Domestic terrorists.
Domestic terrorists.
Yeah.
They were.
I think we all
wanted
done
to
that
stick
for a bit.
together. They wanted to stick together. They didn't want to go into smaller numbers, into different hallways of the White House. They wanted to stick together. There was a minimal amount of damage done to the artifacts and art, but it's still. What they did was really bad.
How about you, Lord Timothais?
Well, I got a lot of words, as you know. I'm not one to be quiet on things like this, but you guys have to think about the bigger picture. Okay, this was a coordinated effort that happened across many states. Okay, this was a coordinated, like you said, clown coup. I'm not going to rehash what we saw because I was watching it. I live streamed it. And I had the highest number of live streamers ever, which shocked me. But all I was doing was watching TV with them, and we were all just talking. And I told them, that's the fact that they're doing it is not going to be the story. The story is going to be where's the protection to allow for this to not happen. That was going to be the story. Now, of course, the story is also too that it did happen, but we knew it was, like Mr. Jahko said, we knew it was coming. We just didn't know when, because it either was going to be on the 6th or on the 19th. And as chatter persists, they're still trying to plan something else. But, I'm not going to sit here and rehash and say what could have been different, how they treat people, how protests are treated differently in America, because we all are adults. We know that there's a clear bias when Black people are just thinking about doing something. All the past summer showed us that to be true. My next question is, I do not want to hear the excuses for what they saw. And Fox News and Newsmax and all of those right-wing media sources have already started to do it, try to convince us of what we saw was who it wasn't.
Yes.
Now, just not many hours ago, that same morning, we had an orange turd telling them what they're going to do. And in fact, he told them that he was going to go with them, which he did not do. They went down the street. It's as if they got the call and said they're on the way. And then we saw what we saw. I'm not going to keep rehashing it and selfie. We all saw it. Replaying that doesn't do it any justice. What we need now to do is find out when they knew it and how long they knew it. that's because it's obvious the I get tongue tied. I'm sorry. The obvious way that Black and brown people are treated when they just want fairness. You guys know I speak about fairness all the time. This just shows us, and I think someone mentioned white privilege. This goes beyond white privilege. Okay. They had no fear of anything. They were smiling for the camera, just totally bragging about just breaking the law, sedition. Everybody knows. The Pentagon probably would have nuked the Capitol for Morbid had all those people been Black, and you all know it. And I'm just going to leave it right there.
Well, as far as caucasity is for sure. As far as how long, I mean, these people had merchandise. They were branding themselves for this revolution. And, I don't think anyone here hasn't received something on TikTok from somebody on the right saying, just you wait until January 6th. I mean, they have been threatening this for a long time and threatening us. And, I don't know, like Jonathan said, why didn't we take this a little bit more seriously? Why wasn't there more coverage there, more police?
Maggie, I'm sorry to cut you off. You know what? America placates to white privilege. They're given the benefit of the doubt, even though they're heinous rapists and mass murderers. They still are afforded the ability to explain themselves, and others just don't get afforded that privilege. And Wednesday was the height of all of it. The world saw America. You know what someone said? We are basically a third world country wearing a Gucci belt. And I believe it.
Amen. I believe that. How about you, Big Weird Mom? Can you kind of speak to how you were dealing with this at that day? I'm sure you
like Lord Timothais, I had my highest live stream numbers that day as well. I think at one point I had like 700 people on, and that's a lot for me. And I was just reading Parler posts as they were coming in and watching it on the TV, and that is what made me the most angry. Was that I was on live for 5 hours, and I was reading and watching them literally giving orders on Parler, like go here, do this, and this is where we are, and this is what's happening. And the Murder the Media guys were there. I follow them on Parler, and they were just like basically live streaming it and like showing pictures of them taking selfies with everybody who you were seeing on TV, and and then just hours later, for Parler and the right to start with this narrative of it was Antifa. And the other thing that I'll have to add too is that like 3 days before this happened, I posted a Parler Martyr where it was a video of one of the leaders saying, we're going to dress up as Antifa and we're going to try to frame them for this. And then it happened, and then they did. And and meanwhile, you've got, the lady who passed away, they are turning her into a martyr on Parler. And they're saying, she was murdered in cold blood. And like, no, she was killed because she was trying to attempt to overthrow the government. Like,
let's not forget she went out of her way too, because she lived in San Diego and she flew a 4-hour flight to go do that and get herself killed for Donald Trump. That just doesn't make sense to me.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. And they're saying, say her name, taking our rhetoric and trying to push it back on us. And they're in this echo chamber of Parler, and it's scary. And I actually just got a notification on my phone that Apple is threatening to shut Parler down on the App Store because of things that happened that day, and because we watched them giving orders, basically commanding their army on Parler, and it needs to be taken down. It needs to be, absolutely needs, because they're organizing for the inauguration now on Parler.
I'm sorry, can I piggyback off of you on that one? If they would have kept, because Donald Trump's back up on Twitter. If they would just keep him banned until after the inauguration, that's
He just banned him. It just came in. It just came in on the news. I am not kidding you.
Thank God! I knew it.
He just permanently banned his account. I am not even kidding you. Breaking
I feel
news.
like that was like destiny that you just said that right there, Lord Timothais.
Hallelujah. I mean, to finish my thought, they also banned Michael Flynn's, Sidney Powell, and all of QAnon. And believe it or not, they're doing it because there's blood on people's hands. And there's blood on Twitter's hands. There's blood on Facebook's hands because now the FBI, of course, we don't know how to find these people. Excuse me, go to TikTok. We're doing the work for you.
I think is this just hitting these people that people are using their sites to push misinformation? Are they just getting that it has real world consequences? Is it just now? I mean,
no, they've been profiting, and it's into their algorithm. It's part of their profit motive. Absolutely not. They know exactly what they're doing. They show people they have studies that show the crazier stuff you show them, they want more crazy stuff. And so they show you, once they see that you have a taste for that and you like that and you spend more time on that page, they show you more of that. So their algorithm, especially things like Facebook, it makes people more radical. It radicalizes because it shows you crazier stuff, and you fall down a rabbit hole. And I think we all, have fallen down a rabbit hole. Obviously not this bad, but sometimes you get into a subject, you're like, okay, and then they start showing you more stuff about that subject. So no, it's their algorithm. They've been profiting off of it. So I don't want anybody to give anybody else any credit. Zuckerberg gets zero credit.
Right.
Jack has been a little bit better, but they get no credit. No,
absolutely.
On the point of banning Parler, though, this might seem counterintuitive. We know where they are on Parler. That's a good thing. We can monitor them as Big Weird Mom does. We can actually monitor what they're doing. They're not on the dark web. That's actually a good thing. We can follow up on what they're talking about and the Donald.com. So I actually am not in favor of banning those sites because we can find what's going on. If they're on the dark web, this stuff like the 6 will happen in darkness. We won't know. So I actually don't like the idea of, just from a logistics standpoint, getting rid of that. Not that it's not a horrible thing what's happening on there, but we can track what they're doing. So
I think what's best too is that they're stupid enough to post their plans like on Parler. Like they're not
right.
It's a good. What's that saying? It's a good way to make God laugh or whatever. Like it's announcing your plans. Like they're that dumb. They'll tell us exactly what they're doing, and then they'll go through with those plans. So I kind of agree. Like keeping Parler up is sort of like, right now at least, kind of a good idea.
I totally agree.
Well, they have to provide their ID, which is a good point. They although I will say that when I got verified on Parler, I provided a fake ID, and I've been verified without giving them my real information. But
that's like a very vigorous process.
Right. But that being said, I do think that people are actually giving over their IDs because
then that goes without saying then, right? Doesn't it make Parler the antithesis of white privilege? Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Doesn't it make it that?
It's almost like walking into the Capitol without a mask on, even though we've been saying that you're wearing a mask all the time and literally telling the world what you did.
We also too need to be reminded of something. They were trying to take down the American flag that flies on the Capitol building to raise a Trump flag.
Correct. Yeah.
You guys can you imagine the imagery had they were successful in doing that? And on top of that, since they're so loving of their flags, which I do not understand, they literally, for the first time in history, brought a treasonous rebel battlefield flag onto the grounds and inside of the Capitol. You guys, do you realize that's never happened in American history ever?
That was disturbing when I saw that.
And back to I'm sorry. What's the big? I'm sorry. I'm
the Big Weird Mom.
No, my friend up here on top of me, the Brady Bunch Pop.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
Mike.
Back to what you guys were saying. You're right. Banning Parler will do no good. They'll just fester somewhere else. You need to make them accountable because the First Amendment allows you to say what you want to say, but it doesn't absolve you from responsibility of the actions that what you're saying causes. And that's the difference between, I got my First Amendment rights. You, first of all, you need to understand what you're reading. And that's been the biggest problem. Trump has been talking to a box of idiots for 4 years.
Well, you know, this is
a combination of a box of tomfoolery.
Well, this is a good time. I actually want to go back to talking about Donald Trump and his role in this that day, and him standing up there and inciting this violence, this sedition. Let's talk about it.
I mean, he's been doing it for weeks and months, really. I mean, he wasn't doing it secretly. The thing is Donald Trump knows his base. Like, he can sit there and say all he wants that, this wasn't the intent, blah, 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 blah. Bullshit, it wasn't the intent. You know exactly who your people are, and you knew exactly what they would do, even with a simple directive of let's just go to the Capitol. To them, that's him saying, let's go to the Capitol and do some crazy ass shit. That's exactly who they are, and he knows exactly what he was doing. I mean, he planned that shit out perfectly.
We had a very nice.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say we had a very nice arc showing him starting out inciting this into the eventual concession that he gave, and the hours in between when all of this failed. When everything that he had worked for had failed.
You know, so the funny thing to me about all of this is that it just proves how stupid his followers are, because even with the police essentially kind of aiding and abetting this thing, they still failed. They still did not do what they planned to do. They came with pipe bombs, with guns, with zip ties to apparently handcuff people. They had, Molotov cocktails. They clearly went there to do some horrible shit. So bad at it that they still failed, even with the police on their side. Like,
BrainDaddy, I think they think this was a big success.
I do too.
I really do.
Yeah.
I really do.
They absolutely do.
Yeah.
It's I'm sorry, I got the giggles because it's like, you remember some years ago when those shoes that had the neon lights in it, and I think it was Reebok who made them.
Yeah.
And then these bank robbers or these guys who just robbed somebody who's wearing these shoes, and it was at night, and then they couldn't figure out how the cops were finding them. Here you have it. And TikTok, and I hate to stray away from the topic, Maggie, but TikTok, you can't help but to call this kind of stuff out, because the blatant stupidity of them, no one likes to be called stupid, but sometimes Stevie Wonder can see the writing on the wall when someone is just stupid.
You know what? They did it to themselves. Yes.
I mean, you're going to walk through the rotunda carrying Nancy Pelosi's podium like you're going to walk into work on Friday like we didn't see you do it? I mean, come on.
They were also willing
They were
to
giving
give
out their names and addresses too.
Names, addresses, everything.
And did you see the guy who had his feet up on Nancy Pelosi's desk?
Yeah.
He gave an interview. Well, the desk belongs to me, so I thought I need to put my feet up on it.
What's great to me is the FBI is like, can you guys help me find them? It's like, well, I can point you to their Twitter account.
Yeah.
They're posting this on Facebook. They live streamed the coup. I mean, you're the FBI. I'm TikTok.
I just don't even understand it.
Why do I know more than you?
If it wasn't so funny, it would be dangerous. I know that sounds kind of backwards, but that's really how I need to say it.
No,
It's
I'm walking that fine line, Lord Timothais, and that's why I call to Timothais. That's why I call it a clown coup, because it's hilarious, but it's dangerous. I mean, it is that fine line of these freaking morons with hats with horns on them and no shirt in the Capitol building. It's hilarious, but at the same time, they're 10 feet away from congressmen that are terrified, that are certifying the results for the leader of the free world. It is such a fine line of clowns doing serious shit. It's like, invading the White House with clown shoes on and a red nose.
And Maggie, back to what you were saying about Trump's culpability. You know what he does? He uses catchwords that skirts it all the way up to the edge of, in his mind, oh, I can't say that, but I can get them thinking it. And he's been doing it for 4 years. So that speech out there was, we're going to take back our country, and then let them do the response part to that.
Yeah.
He's planting the seed in their mind. So when it comes down to the fact, well, you've perpetuated this angry mob. No, I didn't. Well, your son certainly did, and Rudy Giuliani certainly did. And your face just was the cherry on the cake of the day of it. And then you told them you were going to participate with them, and naturally you do what everybody does, what an arsonist does. You set the fire and then put the match behind your back and say, it wasn't me.
Right, and whose flags were they carrying? They were carrying Trump flags. He definitely incited this.
Not to mention they were Trump 2020 flags, and it's 2021.
And the Georgia flag, which was
wrong year, buddy.
Oh, the Georgia flag was for the country, Georgia.
The country of Georgia.
They didn't know that there was a country called Georgia that has another flag.
That killed me the most.
And I'm sorry, but can we poke a little fun? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
What about the girl who got pepper sprayed and said, I couldn't get it?
It's me. I'm Elizabeth from Knoxville, Tennessee. I'm rubbing onions on my eyes.
And now the FBI says they can't find her. She told you her name and where she lives. Have at it.
Nobody said there'd be mace at the revolution.
She was using an onion. She was using an onion.
Did you hear that? What? So that also, who had an onion on the scene that possibly that they could see that shows premeditation, right?
Absolutely.
And the lady
we're storming the Capitol. Didn't you hear? It's a revolution. Those words sound like premeditation, like they got that from being planned. So all of this is evidence. All of it is evidence, is what I'm saying.
Can I point out the real heroes here too? By the way, when this all happened, were those. I'm not sure if it was one or two women who grabbed all of the suitcases and the things with all the electoral votes in it.
Yeah.
I know one woman was behind Senator Tammy Duckworth, who, by the way, was phenomenal in her little speech. But the wherewithal to grab all of that during all of this was just because that's obviously what their plan was. They wanted to come and get those, and they wanted to destroy them. I mean, right? I mean, that's kind of one of the things they were trying to probably do.
If there was an actual coup that changed the election result and made Trump win, it would literally be 4 times the size or 8 times the size. I mean, it would be crazy. They would literally need the army in front of the. I think so, because everyone knows that Trump lost, and we celebrated. You saw it in New York, you saw it in Philadelphia, you saw it everywhere, even in Paris. You saw everyone celebrating on the street with their wine, with their beer. They were really having a good time because they know Trump lost. And it would just be an insane. That would be a real revolution. This is a jokester type.
The only people who think he won are his own supporters, and that's it.
And BrainDaddy, it's crazy. Just like you said. So what if they would have gotten their hands on those certifications and tore them up or burned them? Probably what they wanted to do. That still doesn't make that. Biden's still your president.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
This is the mentality. Yeah. Oh, if we could just tear up the certification, that means Trump won. That's what he pretty much told him that morning.
He doesn't even know.
We just need to get Mike Pence to say that I'm the president, so that makes it right. Come on, man. And guys, think about it. You all were thinking it. You know you were. If a fly would have flown right on Mike Pence's head, oh my God, it just you all were thinking it. You were thinking it. You were thinking it. I know you were. Where's the fly? I need it right now. Where is it?
Okay, so I want to move us forward a little bit, guys. Before we move on to talking about about Donald Trump and what needs to happen to this guy, let's talk about some of the other obstructionists in this. And their part in all of this. I mean, we're talking about this being planned. We're talking about this being a coup. And we've got people, Ted Cruz, we've got people that were ready to just give it over.
Can I say my number one guy? And it's that Matt Gaetz or Getz or however the hell you say his name. He is, to me, even more than Ted Cruz, he is the most abysmal, deplorable piece of garbage.
No.
Because right after they came back into session, that son of a bitch had the nerve to say, well, facial recognition detected that it was Antifa who came into the building disguised as Trump supporters. I'm like, you are in the House right now saying that as an elected official.
I agree with you, but I'm gonna add the second cuspid to that. That damn Josh Hawley, they're two balls on Satan's nutsack. Can I say that? Can I say it? I'm sorry if this offends anyone. Those two dudes
no offense,
are literally the scrotum of Satan. Those two.
Oh my God, yes.
And I'm not even gonna lie to you. Because Lindsey Graham, of course, has been spotted trying to leave Washington, and I guess Trump supporters. I thought it was Biden supporters, but no, these are Trump supporters. Did you guys see it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
it was
he was
horrible.
getting heckled.
Horrible. And I smiled all the way through it.
Yeah. That's the thing. They're turning on Lindsey bad right now. They're turning bad on Lindsey Graham. And I feel no sadness about that. But one thing that's interesting that Tim Miller was just talking about on the news earlier is that Lindsey Graham voted to impeach Bill Clinton for a blowjob. But treason, it's no problem.
Yeah.
He won't impeach after that. What? Yeah. I just want to make one other comment on Donald Trump speaking in his little mob boss. Like, this is what Michael Cohen was talking about. Donald Trump will never explicitly say what he's going to ask you to do. He's going to speak around it so that you get the point. He's going to have all the leverage behind the scenes, and then he never gets caught on tape saying, hey, go raid the Capitol. He says, go stand up for something that we talked about all day, but I didn't actually say. So it's a New York mob method.
It's from all those years of studying Tony Soprano, because he watches TV forever. That's what it is. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm petty. I'm gonna be in Donald Trump's ass until he's 1 foot in the grave and 1 foot on a banana peel every day, all day. He's got it coming. Melania's got it coming. I don't talk about people's children, but the kid that's the goon, the little kid that gawks behind him, he's got it coming. The Junior's got it coming. Eric's got it coming. Laura's got it coming. They all have it coming. You know when it's going to start? January 21st, because Letitia James got her little list. She's going.
Yes, she is.
And the kids are not off limits. I'm telling you right now.
They better
It's
not be.
Barrett is not off limits.
Make me the bad guy all you want. The truth is
talking about Ivanka, Don Jr. and Eric, who are, by the way, neck deep in money laundering themselves. So all those cases that Letitia James, Cy Vance, even Manhattan district attorney, all those cases are with the Trump organization, and Ivanka is as dirty as any of them. The question is, and I kind of wanted to get y'all's opinion on this. The question is not whether he's going to go to jail; it's what they choose to prosecute first.
Right.
What the succession of crimes is, and who gets first crack at him when. But what do you guys think the culpability is for people like Trump, Mo Brooks, Ted Cruz? I did a TikTok on Mo Brooks where he's standing out in front of the Capitol and with a microphone yelling at the crowd, "We're going to go kick some ass," and then they walked across the Capitol to the Capitol. What is their legal culpability? Because like I said, they had merchandise for this date with the word Civil War on it. There's so much chatter on Parler. This was planned. They knew they were going to do it. We didn't take them as seriously as we probably should have, but they had this plan. So, I mean, what's the legal culpability for that? Sedition's a hard thing to prove, but you got merchandise, that's planned.
The Justice Department's already saying no. They're already saying they're not going to say they incited everything. The Justice Department already said that, which is
it's on tape. And I think that as citizenry, I think it's incumbent upon us to push for that. And I don't want to hear any of this kumbaya, let's come together, let's let bygones be bygones, and let's try to be buddies now. No, you try to throw over the country. You try to overthrow the government.
You need to understand something too. You have Merrick Garland is going to be your new, and trust me, this man, now I'm speaking for me, I'm not putting this on him, but if I were he, I would have been taking notes from who, when, and you don't want to meet with me for what? Okay. Because like I said, the righteous always has the last laugh, and Merrick Garland is laughing all the way to the AG's office.
Yeah.
The only better
it's kind of poetic, isn't it?
It is poetic. Would be Obama, to be totally honest, like Maggie brought up.
And I got to tell you, all you have to do is prove any good. I'm not a lawyer, but I watch a lot of SVU too. All you have to do is prove intent. That's all you have to do. And any good practicing attorney can prove intent, but because they've led you all the way there with their rhetoric, and Parler is going to do them in.
Hey, Amp, if I can ask a question to Amp real quick. Amp, did they say that because of the lack of what they thought was evidence, or did they say that because they wanted to let bygones be bygones, or what was the reasoning behind that statement, Amp?
But yeah, no, I just saw that earlier today. I mean, and actually it was this evening, that the Justice Department is saying that they're not going to call for any incitement of anyone that spoke that day, which is crazy because that's going to undermine the impeachment effort. So they're going to have to rewrite the impeachment documents because they were basing it on incitement in part. So the Justice Department, which is just blatantly corrupt at this for all 4 years, really, but now it's just in shambles. But what they're saying is that it's a timing issue because the new Merrick Garland, to everyone's point, is going to be a good AG. But the current Justice Department is basically non-democratic and corrupt. So they just said they're not gonna follow up on that as far as inciting any violence, which is clearly inaccurate and it's clearly not fair.
So no real reason. Just
what question though is it? Is
right.
Was that this administration's words, or because they can't possibly be speaking for the future administration?
No.
One
That's
administration at a time.
Right.
Okay. Because if anyone thinks anybody from this administration is going to do anything, you're probably going to hold your breath till the moon turns into cheese, because that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Right.
All right, you guys, I'm going to stop here. I want to actually get into talking about Donald Trump, the actual process of him getting impeached. And even, people are still talking about the 25th Amendment. I know it seems like it's an impossible thing, but it's still on the table. So I'm going to show a short clip real quick.
You're among many of the congressional reps calling for the impeachment of the president if the 25th Amendment isn't invoked. So how much support is there? And could Congress actually get this done in the 13 days remaining?
So I do believe that there is overwhelming support that we have seen in the Democratic caucus, and we are also starting to see support among Republican members of the House as well, at least for his removal from office through the 25th Amendment. We've seen Representative Kinzinger, who is a member of the Republican caucus, also calling for President Trump's removal. This is an extremely serious moment, and I do believe that we must exercise every avenue possible, because what the president has shown is that his mental status and his actions are wildly eroding at a rapid pace, and he is becoming increasingly volatile. So every day that he is in office represents a clear and present danger to our democracy and certainly the Congress of the United States.
But there really isn't.
All right. So let's talk about Donald Trump and his next 13 days here. How much damage can he do? How can we get him out of here? What's the path? What's the path that you guys see? I know that they've drawn up articles already. I've heard that they're going to put in impeachment articles on Monday.
Okay, well, Betsy DeVos and Margaret, whatever her name is, or is it? I want to call a girl Margaret Cho. I'm sorry, that's the comedian. But the transportation, Chow, there you go.
Yeah.
Those two girls resigning is a punk move, because they didn't want to put between a rock and a hard place. I know there's 12 days to go. I know they're going to be leaving anyway, but to go ahead and to leave the way they did, it wasn't a show of force. It was just I don't want I don't want to be a part of this.
Oh, you know why they did that?
Something.
They did that because they didn't want to have to make the choice, because if they go on record as voting against Trump. So DeVos's brother is Eric Prince, Blackwater founder, that private military force. He's dirty as the day is long.
Oh yeah.
So Trump has got a lot of dirt on him, a ton of dirt on him, and he knows he'll turn on him in a heartbeat. So Betsy DeVos didn't want to be on record as voting against Trump. And same thing for Elaine Chao. Mitch McConnell is shell deep in Russian money also, with the Russian oligarch Oleg Deripaska. So they are both dirty. So Trump could turn on them and turn evidence on them in a heartbeat, and he would. So they didn't want to be forced to make that vote if the 25th was invoked.
Sure.
Yeah.
And you know what, to add to you, I listen, let's just think about this for a second. Within a week before the election, they nominated Amy Coney Barrett, put her through, and she's sitting on the court. You're trying to, I know it won't happen, but with that same energy, they can impeach this man if they really put their energy into it.
Yeah.
It only took a week to put a Supreme Court justice on the bench. They can remove this dude for a second time if they wanted to. For real.
Well, and let's not forget, and I want to get to some people that haven't been speaking up as much, but let's not forget that this is not like the first impeachable offense of the week.
Right.
Like, I mean, it's been a wild week. I mean, even his, admissions in the Georgia tapes, that's enough to, I think, need to impeach.
Yeah.
Go forward. So I want to hear from Mr. Jahko.
That's where they're starting, right? They're starting with the tapes?
I believe so. Mr. Jahko, let's start with you.
I'm just going to tell y'all right now, Donald Trump right now, what he's doing is he's like leaving the dirty dishes in the sink for when Biden comes in. That's what he's doing right now. So he wants to leave his mess for Biden to clean up. But it's not going to work out for him. It's not going to work out the way he's planning it. All the stuff he's planning is actually working against him. The same way how all of these Republicans ended up turning Democrat because of what he did. The way that he's turning a whole bunch of people that were supposed to be supporting him, they were supposed to be overturning the election results, and they all dropped the case because of what happened. So he's ending up messing it up for himself. So I'm actually just glad. I'm waiting for him to cancel himself. That's what he's doing right now. Canceling himself.
He's off Twitter now, so he pretty much canceled himself. I mean, what else can he do, right?
He just lost his voice. Yeah.
How about you, American Moderate? What are your takes on this?
I mean, at this point, Donald Trump has very clearly he's relinquished all ability to care about truth, fact, the role of being president, his oath. It's no longer in the equation. This is about self-preservation. At this point, the only reason why he made that phony apology earlier today was just to preserve, I think, not only his future and to try to not be impeached, but really to protect Don Jr. because of that tape of them partying in the tent when they were raiding the Capitol. That live video is very damning, and I think that's going to come back and haunt him really badly. But I do think that people basically said, hey, if you don't say that this was wrong and disavow what you just totally made happen, but if you don't disavow it now, you're going to go, I think there are some bigger powers that are probably telling him, like, this was it, man. If you don't say this is it. And he actually deleted those tweets off Twitter, too, to get back on. So he never backs down. He actually backed down twice this week. So I think he's getting the message that it's not going to get any better for him, and he better start playing ball or else he's just going to go to jail, or who knows.
How about you, BrainDaddy?
About
Trump being impeached. What are your thoughts on?
I mean,
what are your thoughts on this?
Jesus, I don't even know where you really begin. I mean, he, like you said, he basically commits an impeachable offense every other week. It sure seems like. But I agree. Like, it should have started with the Georgia call being released. I mean, that alone was that was a blatant admission of, because he's promoting the stop the steal bullshit when he's literally trying to steal the election. Like, and his supporters don't see that, but. To me, God damn it! I get so angry sometimes when I discuss this man that I don't even know what to say because it's just so freaking infuriating that he has been allowed to do this for year after year, and now just 12 days before he's done, now they start to care. Like, where was his energy? Where he's done so many awful things.
You know what? Well, the bar is so low. You're right. He's committed an impeachable offense just about every week since he's been in office, and that's not hyperbole. And to piggyback on what Mr. Jahko said about leaving the dishes in the sink, he is trying to make it as difficult as possible for the Biden administration in every way. We saw all these high-profile firings from the Defense Department, from dismantling these planes that are supposed to spy on Russia for the world's, for the world community, so everybody knows what they're doing. All these things that he's doing, the Iran deal, the Paris Accord, the climate, all this stuff, he's trying to make it as difficult as possible so that the Biden administration gets off to such a slow start that it's hard for them to have any successes. And they can say, oh, look, they failed. So absolutely, he's absolutely right on that.
Jonathan, though, in doing so, he's also led a trail straight to his corruption.
He's never been held accountable. Lord, he's 74.
He's
74 years old. He's never been held accountable for anything in his life. So he doesn't believe that he will be this time. He's going to be, but he doesn't. His brain doesn't operate that way. He's never been held accountable ever.
And it's amazing. He literally is playing checkers. He really is.
Oh,
he really is. He doesn't understand.
And he doesn't even know what color he is.
I think he's playing Candyland. Okay, I don't think he's
when you cancel all of your inspectors general, that is the first indication that you and your cabinet are up to no good. And when the GOP co-signs the fact that you're letting go all the gatekeepers to watch to see what you're stealing, well, then that implies to me that you're also a little bit in on it. Because Mitch McConnell and his wife they're going to have a lot to answer for, because his wife enriched her family through the Department of Transportation. And you guys are I talk about this all the time on my TikToks. I know it sounds conspiracy theory, but the crimes that we yet know about, that we do not yet know about are going to blow your mind.
Oh, yeah. I believe that.
Speaking of which, Lisa Murkowski just quit. The Republican from Alaska. She said she's done. She just quit.
God, what? Quit what?
She quit the Senate. She quit the Senate. As of today, she's out. She says, I can't take it anymore. She's done. Breaking news. Sorry, breaking news. Sorry.
Wow. No, are you serious? I mean, a sitting senator doesn't step down. That is historical, Lord. Oh my God.
Because there's a really strong candidate that went for Senate that was an independent in Alaska that could take that seat. So if that's true, how did you hear that? Because if that's true,
it's just news right here.
The guy who just lost in Alaska for the race where the Republican won was a really strong candidate and actually could have won and been basically like an independent / blue vote. So if that's true, then we can.
NBC News just reports Lisa Murkowski just resigns from the Senate.
Wow.
Effective immediately?
Effective today, sir.
Oh my God, that is insane. I've been talking too much. I don't want to.
Grandmother. How are you going to go to work and with the threat of getting your head blown off because a man is lying from the White House? She's done it probably for personal reasons.
Unbelievable.
I'm shocked though.
That's
shocking. I gotta go right now. But I just wanted to say I'm super happy with this week, even though all this bad stuff happened because of the Senate, because of Ossoff and Warnock. That's what our goal
gonna get
was.
there. Absolutely. We're leaving on a positive note.
Yeah,
it's good stuff.
Anyways, you guys, I just wanted to say that really all of us TikTokers, thank you guys. Anyways, all of us TikTokers really came together and we really pushed for that race. I mean, it was all of us. It was Walter. It was so many of us. Even John Ossoff did a TikTok account and he got like hundreds of thousands of people in a very short amount of time. So his campaign really was based around like the media, Instagram, TikTok, and everything else. So, I mean, we really did it, you guys. So I just can't believe it.
John Ossoff is going to be your first Jewish president, and Buttigieg is going to be your first gay one. Watch what I tell you. Watch what I tell you.
I'm married to a senator now.
All right, so you guys, I want to go back real quick because I really want to talk to the Big Weird Mom about this.
Okay,
thank you.
Good night, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you guys are at. Anyways,
bye. Man.
I do enjoy it here. So, anyways, see you guys in next week's episode. Bye.
Bye, Bert. Okay, so the Big Weird Mom, I want to talk to you real quick about after Trump did his concession speech, what was Parler like?
I think that, hey, sweetie, can you get down, please? Of course, when it's time for me to talk. I think, like we were saying earlier, it's all about talking in code. This is what they're saying over there. They don't, he takes it to that limit, and then I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. We'll come back to you. We'll come back. You got your baby. Hi. Hey, it's our first baby on Friday Night Highlights.
So you mentioned Parler, and the kids just start screaming.
They know. They're intuitive. All right. Well, you know what? Let's just take this time since Bert brought it up. Let's move and talk about Georgia. I've got a clip right here. So with all the bad that's happened this week, there has been something that was so good. And it was really hard, I think, for any of us to appreciate the win that we had. And it was a win that we had been waiting for and wanting so bad. And it makes me sad that we still, I feel, are not celebrating because there's, a cloud hanging over us right now. But this is pretty amazing. And we can actually get to work. Let's talk about it.
Well, can we talk about the Red Mirage? Because, I knew there, because, Republicans vote on election day. So you know how you get into these little TikTok fights with Trump supporters and you want to indulge them because you know that it's not going to look that way in the morning. So, and of course you find you walk that thin line of not getting your TikTok removed, because I'm always on that line every day. So, I had a video that got 1 million views because of the dudes. It's like, this is what the map's going to look like, but this is really what it's going to look like. And all I did was, oh yeah, buddy. And it got 1 million views. Can you guys believe that?
That's amazing.
I was kind of hoping for that kind of magic to happen twice with Stacey Abrams, who's the true queen down there. You know what I mean? She needs to go to Texas now and get rid of Cruz. But like you guys said, celebrating Warnock and Ossoff, there is a black man and a Jewish man coming from one of the reddest states in America. That just gives me the giggles all the way down and out the other end.
just real quick, and then we'll go back to Georgia real quick. I just think I should. The Murkowski thing, she called on Trump to resign. She didn't actually resign.
Well, hold on.
She has called on Trump to resign.
Okay.
That's a pretty big, I don't want to jump into it, but that's a pretty big thing right there.
You know what? I stand corrected. Make sure you correct me. Trust me, because I'm excitable.
Well, that's a huge thing. Sitting senators don't just resign. That's a gravy train, baby.
Hold on, maybe I read it wrong.
They also don't ask presidents to resign.
Exactly. It's big either way. It's big either way. But as far as the Georgia thing, I just wanted to bring up something. It brought up the footage of 2017 when Reverend Warnock was arrested in the Capitol building for praying, and the juxtaposition of that with what happened in the Capitol building on the same day that he gets elected to the Senate.
Right.
Is kind of crazy. But they're two great candidates. And I think you're exactly right, Maggie. We didn't get a chance to celebrate it because it's an amazing thing. Georgia voted for Biden. Georgia sent 2 Democratic senators to the Senate. Mm-hmm. And it was just an amazing day. And I think we got robbed of our chance to celebrate. And now Kamala Harris is the tie-breaking vote in the Senate.
Yes, she is.
The John Ossoff announcement was like right in the middle of the whole thing. Yeah. So it really got, like, I was watching, I think CBS or CNN or something, and they said, they're like hours afterwards, I remember them saying, oh, by the way, we forgot to tell you John Ossoff won his election. They're like, we were covering all of this. It was just such a passing statement because of everything that had happened, and which was just so unfortunate because of the gravity of these wins. It sucks that it got buried in this horrible freaking story of what happened.
Absolutely. I want to talk to Amp real quick. You've been talking about, how we should be so grateful to Georgia. And I love your message that you've been pushing about we need to do stuff for them. Our entire 10 years in our future was relying on Georgia and us getting these 2 Senate seats, and they came through for us. We owe them big time. Mm-hmm. So can you talk to that a little bit?
Yeah, no, I agree. And actually, Jonathan and I, when we were talking earlier in the week, when I was on Jonathan's night show there, we were talking, and we thought at that point that it was over, that they had lost because they were both down 2.5 and 3 points respectively with 80% in, and it didn't look like there was any big turn that was going to come. So we were both pretty disappointed at that time, to say the least. And Jonathan's like, yeah, there goes our decade, really. And I agreed, because there was so much impact, because we would have had 2 years of no progress. And then it's possible we could have lost the House in 2022. We'll see. But, it's possible. It certainly didn't trend well this time around. So what I was saying in multiple posts is we need to shower Georgia with thanks. And I mean, whatever that state needs, we should be. We've done a good job funding political races. Maybe we should consider funding the people of Georgia in some way, shape, or form, where we're sending them actual money or gifts or supplies? Or how can we help the people of Georgia? In which ways can we largely crowdfund, giving them a genuine amount of thanks in tangible and non-tangible ways? We give them non-tangible thanks, but how do we send them literally, do we send them a ton of money to say thank you so they can eat and supply their families? I mean, I'm not sure what the right way to do it is, but we need to send them. They saved America. I genuinely believe that. If they didn't take this and Mitch stayed in power, nothing would happen. So I'll leave it at that. I think we have to find an innovative and creative way to thank the people of Georgia that are registered Democrats and independents that voted for Ossoff and Warnock.
I think one way is to be vocal about who drove that, and that is Stacey Abrams and Black women.
Absolutely.
You know,
and
can I
let's be
ask a
vocal
question?
about that. Black women showed up to the polls and waited in line.
Can I cause a little bit of controversy? How is it that we should be rewarding? I mean, I'm glad they voted the way they did, but you know what? Isn't that the right thing to do anyway? Why should we be rewarding that?
Because it's more difficult there. Because there are things in place that make it more difficult. You saw some people waiting 8, 7, 10 hours. There's voter suppression. I know what you're saying, Lord. You're absolutely right. You're supposed to vote. You're supposed to go up and do it.
You see how we're doing it though? We're rewarding a bar that's already lower than the low. The voting process is afforded everyone. What Georgia really needs to do. I know, but what Georgia needs to do is realize what's stacked against them and vote that out, and they never do. I know they stand in line all day long, but do they know why they're standing in line all day long? They never vote at the local level. They never, because this stuff happens at the local level. My point is they need to be educated why they need to be voting every time in every election and not being rewarded every 4 years, or when it comes down to something like this where we really need them.
But that's also part of,
and that's what Stacey Abrams' message is as well. You people, we shouldn't be, the country shouldn't have had to rely on you to pull you out of the fire when Lindsey Graham should have lost his job. Mitch McConnell should have lost his job. Susan Collins should have lost her job. Joni Ernst should have lost her job. And now everything falls on one state to save it. This is not what democracy is. I know they cheat. They know that they cheat. They know that the deck is always stacked against them. But when you don't pay attention to what you should have voted for 5 years ago, now you got to backtrack and correct that problem. My point is, that's what frustrated me through the election process. Teaching people government. You should already know this shit at the local level. Sorry for my language. You should already know this stuff. And now that we have to hold our breaths to make sure that 2 seats are over, it should never have ever been this close. We already know they cheat. We already know they cheat. And I'm sorry, the message is great. You guys are good. I'm glad they did it. But my point is, the fact that we are talking like this conversation shouldn't even be happening because they should already know what affects their lives when they vote at the local level, and they just don't. People still don't to this day.
But that isn't the problem. Education, ignorance, misinformation. These things, how do we actually weed these things out and help people help themselves? That's the problem. What is the solution to that then?
You know what?
Where do we go from here? Right?
Well, you know what? That's the $100 million question, because everyone in this country, and certainly the past 4 years, you only pay attention if it affects you. You know, or if they don't like Black Lives Matter, so I need to get involved with that. You should have already been involved with it because it's the right thing to do. Everybody's so reactionary when they see something happening. If the incident, George Floyd's have been happening for 20 years plus and back. It just happened to be caught on a national spotlight in real time this time that made it different in the midst of a pandemic.
Absolutely.
All of a sudden we have all of this bear to arms to support Black Lives Matter. You know what? You weren't supporting Black Lives Matter last year when an unnamed George Floyd was having that happen to him.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I just want us all to look at every problem is a double-edged sword. Yeah. You can either educate yourself and so it doesn't happen again and start from this day forward and not just jump on the bandwagon because it's the new trend.
No, that's a good point. I want to mention.
Go ahead, Eric, moderate.
Oh, I was just saying, I grew up in upstate New York, and some of you all might remember Amadou Diallo, who's a gentleman who's African American that was just murdered by police.
Yeah.
And it got a lot of Amadou Diallo. And I grew up with that being this. Where I'm from, I'll just say it, Albany, New York, is the capital. And so it's actually relatively diverse compared to a lot of other upstate areas. And so I grew up with a lot of different cultures and a lot of Jewish folks, a lot of African American folks. It was just sort of, there was all the cultures. So we were very disturbed by that at that point. In that case, actually, they held that case in Albany, not in New York City, because there would have been riots in New York City. So I grew up thinking like that was horrible at a very young age. And I'm still shocked to this day that there's parts of the country, like to Lord Timothais' point, why is this still happening? And why are we so far behind the curve? And why is it even a debate anymore? Why is police reform still like, oh, maybe? You know, it just seems it is beyond, beyond delayed. Yeah.
I think especially after the Amadou Diallo case, that was so horrific. Like, how come things didn't change from then? And I know, like, things never change when that comes to that stuff, unfortunately. But
not only that, there's
because the people that can change it don't want it to change.
There's Abdul Lawima. There's I mean, guys, oh God, I don't want to go down this road, but you know, now it's trendy. Oh, I support Black Lives Matter. Well, you know, you should have always supported Black Lives Matter. And then now, of course, if that's not good enough, all lives matter. They have to create a juxtaposition to Black Lives Matter. Mm-hmm. This shit I'm sorry for cursing, sorry. This has to stop.
Yes, absolutely.
You know where it stops? Policemen's unions. They are allowed to police themselves. You break that down and you stop the funding to when you and tie it to performance, you will find and make cops live in the neighborhoods they're policing. Those are the 3 things you can do right away to affect immediate change.
Yeah.
Yep. I think also the getting rid of qualified immunity, you have to get rid of qualified immunity. If you don't get rid of qualified immunity, nothing, there's no accountability.
You need a union for when you need a doctor's note and they say, oh, well, you were out at the club. But no. You don't need a union to protect you from killing someone that you use excessive force for. That's just wrong, people. Come on.
Absolutely.
Hey guys, I hate to interrupt, but I've got some more breaking news too. It looks like Parler has been taken down.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Holy fucking circle!
I'm getting
Hey, weird mom, what are you gonna do?
Oh my God!
I don't know. You guys better still follow me.
You better believe it. I'm just kidding. Your content's great.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I can't refresh the feed. I can't confirm it because I've been trying to Google.
I was gonna say it's been on my YouTube comments that Parler's been banned. I can't find a news story.
Well, hold on. That's where I got Melissa Murkowski quit. So don't look at them comments. They got me lying up in here to y'all people.
Well, no, because they're trying to log into it too, and they can't get into it. Like no one can get into Parler anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, it's completely down.
That's again, like what I was saying though, is I don't know if that's good. I don't know if that's good because now they're going to go to the dark web. And now we can't. Now it's just a big abyss.
But I also think it sends a message.
Yeah,
it sends a message, and this is a loud and clear message that what you tried to do, this coup, what you tried to do to our government is not happening.
Yeah,
this is that. I mean, and I think it takes them down a notch. And you want to talk about putting people in their place? That's where they need to be right now.
But here's my problem now, though. If they really did pull it down, for sure, what is this going to do to their psyche now that now they've been silenced again?
Oh, yeah.
They feel the election was stolen from them. And now their voice, because Trump's Twitter was banned, and now Parler is banned. What do you think that's going to do to these people who are already crazy enough to announce their plans that they're going to do something?
Absolutely, you're right.
I don't think that it can get any worse, honestly, because the stuff that I have, most of the stuff that I get on, I can't read on TikTok.
Okay, here it goes. It says right here, Apple tells Parler it has 24 hours to clean house or be removed. So I think they took it down to scrub all that foolishness.
That was, that makes sense. Because that was posted about an hour before.
And what this means is they're not going to be, what this means, and they're not going to be, they're not going to be, what's the word? Banned. The Apple is going to take it out of the Apple store. So they won't be able to get it from there. The same thing they try to do with TikTok. So if you already have it, you're going to continue to have it. You just no more new people can download it.
Right. Okay. No, well, yeah, that, and they're going to be forced. for what I'm seeing on Parler from the reactions to this announcement from Apple is Parler is going to have draconian censorship and blah, blah, blah. And that's what they're worried about. And that's the whole thing with Parler, was that there was no censorship. So they were allowed to just have this echo chamber. So, maybe they've taken it down in order to they're going to have to bump up.
Can we all say it together? Can we all say it together? Put in community guidelines.
Touche, Lord Timothais. Touche.
Well, I do think, real quick on that though, I do think stopping these little forums is like trying to stop the tides, because you know how our Discord chat goes. You know how you can start a Twitch chat. You can start one of these groups in a minute, and there's now there's kids that can start an app like Parler tomorrow. It's just like trying to stop the tide from coming. To a degree.
Yeah, I do doubt their ability to navigate the dark web, though.
Mr. Jahko, can I ask you? I'm sorry. Go ahead, babe.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead. We need to hear from
Jahko, can I ask you a question? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Listen, dude. First of all, I need to give you big props. Your content is so damn done so well. I mean, your elocution and the facts. You don't miss a beat. But on that note too, I watched. Is it you? I watched. What's that app that you can FaceTime with strangers? What's that called? Emily?
Omegle.
Isn't it? Didn't I see you on there doing a live on there?
Yep, I was shutting them down, and I had one video where there were actual white supremacists holding up the Confederate flag, and I was explaining why it was racist, and they cut off the screen, and then TikTok took it down.
I remember seeing that video.
But Mom, that's what I was trying to tell you. They're just going to move from Parler to that website. That way they can do it with each other.
There's a bunch of different websites that we and there's a bunch of things that are basically like Facebook, where they don't do censorships. But you're right, they're just going to jump ship and go somewhere else. And it's weird because literally right before I got this text message from the lady who's moderating my comments, I got an update from Enrique Tarrio, from the leader of the Proud Boys, saying, "You jump ship right now. You leave Parler right now." So he, like I said, they've got their troops on there, and they're whatever, and wherever he says to go, that's where they're going to go.
Wow.
Hey, Big Weird Mom, was that you that I saw that posted those Parler comments where they were upset when Trump came out with his forced speech, where he was calling it heinous? Was that you that posted that, where they were really angry with Trump and they were like, "Oh, we did all this for Trump and now he turned on us"? Was that?
No, that wasn't me. I did make a post yesterday about their reaction. I
saw that post though.
It's kind of a dumbed down version. Like it's got the masses, right? So like the people on Parler who are reacting to the concession or whatever you want to call it, where they were trying to read between the lines. And this is what I was kind of going into before the baby almost fell off the table, was that she, they're saying, well, he didn't say he was conceding. They said he was putting in a new administration. So on Parler, from what I see, they think that he is going to this is the time where he's going to drain the swamp, and he's going to he's going to kick everyone out of government, and he's going to install a new administration. And that's what they think. They went from, Trump is playing 4D chess to we're going to go from Trump to Trump 5.0. And that's what they were saying. And, it was crazy, but I did see those comments, and, I kind of felt like at this point, we went through such a hard day. I wanted to kind of do a little bit more lighter content, and that was my mistake, that I didn't post everything. But it's hard with a 1 minute video, you know what I mean? So, hopefully I'm hoping to get into it tonight, kind of what people are planning for the inauguration, because they are being very vocal on Parler about that.
So have you seen that the 19th they're planning on bringing long barrel rifles, and that they're not going to be as polite? Because that's what I've been reading on the Donald. Yes. So the 19th is the day. Is that right?
Yeah, people are saying, oh, well, these were peaceful protesters compared to what we're going to send in, and I've got the ammo, and I'm just waiting for the call, and they're literally waiting for the flag to drop from their master, Lord Voldemort, and as soon as he says it's okay to go, they're going to come in and take over the inauguration. And frankly, I want them to do it in a bunker somewhere. Like, I don't care. We don't have to see it. Like, filming it on an iPhone. Like, just get it done. You know what I mean?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of the inauguration, that I have the ending clip. We're getting close to time, but let's talk about what do you think that's going to look like now that this happened.
What, the inauguration?
Yeah.
Well, they've already called in National Guard from all the surrounding states. And to add what Mom was getting ready to say, or to piggyback to what she was saying, I don't think they're going to be able to get into Washington.
Right.
To be honest with you. And I just got sent a tweet here. I'm sorry, not a tweet, an email. Flight Attendants Union wants pro-Trump rioters banned from all flights. Ooh. So this is widespread. Of course, they should have been thinking about this on Monday, but
I would have said that on Tuesday. I would have said they're not going to get in. They're not going to do this, even though I've been watching the worst of the worst on Parler. Like I'm not going to believe it until I see it.
Yeah, but
all those people were all getting on flights to go there from different places around the United States. They didn't suspect anything was going to happen. They didn't suspect anything suspicious. There's no way all those people.
Right.
Coming from San Diego, coming from all different parts around the United States, just to go there. Come on.
Right.
Come on.
Right.
Well, I mean, you have people, we've talked about this. Radicalization is happening here and now, and these people will go to great lengths to make this happen.
Yeah.
They will fly somewhere else and drive a car up.
Yeah.
I think to BrainDaddy's point too, BrainDaddy made a really good point about them feeling disenfranchised by like Parler going down and everything else. So I think you're exactly right. This is just going to add to that whole idea that the libs are taking away all of their tools. The libs are taking away. Twitter's all liberals. Facebook's all liberals. And what's happening is they're actually stopping their content. So they're actually right in that they're getting silenced. But that's not to say that what they're saying isn't horrifying. It's more
not to mention it's happening on TikTok too. You see a lot of these conservative TikTokers who are either being banned permanently or they're actually willingly leaving the app because they feel like they're being silenced on there. So it's just all fuel that's being added to this massive fire. Right. That's who knows how this is going to turn out because of all of this.
Well, guys, you do realize the genie can't be put back into the bottle. This is
correct.
We have to learn how to deal with because these are our coworkers and family members and ex-friends. You got to learn how to deal with these people.
Yep. Trust me, I know. I work with several of them. I know.
Some of these people are your neighbors. When they came out with the terrorist identification list, where some people identified these people, they're living right next to you in the same city, the same borough. I'm over here
And Mr. Jahko, you know what else too? They're professional people, six-figure salaried people, CEOs. I was floored to find out what these people did for a living, storming the damn Capitol. And you know what?
Now they're in jail.
They say this is not our America. This is exactly what our America is.
Yeah, I believe it.
No, it's not their America. Like it's our America collectively. They want it to be their America.
Their America.
But they are on a separate tier.
It's funny to me how
if minorities getting a seat at a table and equality to the oppressor feels like oppression, and that's what they're feeling right now.
Well,
and we're
you
seeing
know what?
the
I've said this on live before, and I know it was controversial the first time I said it, but. And I speak of fairness all the time. They don't want fairness because they know that they will be inferior to a lot of black and brown people.
Correct.
Yep. Because if the playing field is level, they're going to get left behind.
You know what I mean? Because then they'll understand what their white privilege has. Because we've been rewarding mediocrity in this country for a long time. Amy Coney Barrett is mediocre. There was a black candidate who should have had her job when she was in Chicago. She's in another, as far as I'm concerned, the seat Amy Coney Barrett is in is still empty, as far as I'm concerned. Because up here ain't got nothing in it. They rewarded a mediocre white woman, and I'm sorry. And you know what? I want to make not an excuse, but I want to explain myself with some of the words I use. And when my grandmother used to have a saying: when you're in a room talking to people, present company is excluded when you're talking about something. So when I use words like white privilege and white and things that white people are doing and what are they afforded that black and brown people aren't, if it makes you uncomfortable, first of all, you need to speak up that it does, and then we need to discuss why it makes you uncomfortable. The days of making white people feel comfortable about the history of how America came to be are over.
Absolutely.
You need to come to the now.
Absolutely.
Now, if I'm in this room talking and I say that white girl this and mediocre that, I'm not talking about you in this room unless I know that to be true about you.
Yeah.
And, when you're seeing all of this backlash and foolishness on TikTok or how when you post a video and you get all this foolishness in your comments about why white people, you know what? Perfect example. I cut myself off, but perfect example. I saw a video today of a woman discussing a comment of someone else's video. She made a video about it. She said, someone was addressing her, you should say white Americans and not white people. And then she proceeded to run down the history of white people all across the world and the dirt that they do in their own countries. But the point is, I'm saying, if she doesn't know that about you personally, why are you taking it so personal if it bothers you or doesn't bother you? So you need to confront that, look in the mirror and confront yourself with why is Tim saying that? I don't understand him. I like him. He's such a good content creator, but why am I feeling this way? Because that's something you need to fix within you about the history of white America.
I'm hearing you say this, and I'm not like, oh my god, I'm
because you know that because you know that's not you.
You know the phrase, Lord Timothais is, "I'm in the South," and the phrase that we use is, "A hit dog will holler." Right. So if you're hollering, you've been hit, and you need to figure out what a hit dog will holler.
We've all have seen it because we watch comments and like, why is she getting all pissed off and what he said about that? If that's not her feeling it too, I know you've all been there, Mr. Jahko.
Leave the camera on BrainDaddy. Leave the camera on BrainDaddy.
Oh,
you famous for it. You know,
they be getting mad at my comments when I go through the Black history. They be on my case. Oh, well, I didn't do that. Why should I be? I didn't say your name. I never called your name. I never called you.
Okay, honestly, can you say what you say? You like, don't come
for me if I didn't send for you. I will wreck you. I will bury you, and I will drag you in the facts. But they still come for me in the comments.
I will drag you in the facts. I love it.
Honestly, that is my favorite thing you ever say.
What you said about the national anthem? Oh my God, Lord,
they weren't ready.
They were not. I'm still not ready. I didn't even know. I'm not ready.
All right, you guys.
Can I just add one thing to this? Because it's actually true. What I've seen, at least, is that white people broadly have voted against their best interests in many cases to make sure that at least black folks and brown folks didn't get an opportunity to get to that level playing field, right? Yeah. So they'll vote against things that'll make their lives better to assure that at least they're at a higher level on the pile of shit. They just want to be better, literally.
And then you have a guy like Trump who exacerbates that feeling, making poor people think that they're better than black and brown people, even though we all know that is just not true.
Right. Yeah.
You guys heard Kamala Harris speak this week, right? I mean, she was so eloquent in saying that what needs to happen is equality in a nutshell, and facing the fact that this is one of the biggest issues, if not the biggest issue that we are facing. Everything that we've seen this week has been partially, if not mostly, racially motivated. And we have to confront these issues, and we have to figure out a way to get everybody on board, because it's only going to get worse.
It's true.
So with that, I want to kind of wrap us up, guys, because we are at time, but I want to leave on a positive note. I want to talk about the future a little bit, because like I said, we didn't get our win. We didn't get to celebrate our win with Georgia, but we also didn't really get to celebrate the fact that for the 15th time, Kamala and, Biden have won. And so we finally got that again this week.
So much winning.
I'm so tired of winning. Trump.
We have one more win though, January 20th.
Listen, Trump told us we'd be tired of winning, guys. So I'm
not tired
getting
yet.
tired of it. But I mean, I just want to go around before we, say goodbye and everything. But what do you guys look forward to for the future? I want to hear some positive things, like leaving off, because now we've got a blue Senate. We've got.
I can say as a member of the LGBTQ community, I am very hopeful with Kamala Harris, especially, and Joe Biden. I am hopeful for a better future for my people, for my community, because they're so pro equality in general. So I'm excited for the future for equality as best as it can get, I guess you can say, but especially for my world, I think. I feel happier. I feel more at ease. I feel more at peace that I'm not going to be having more rights stripped away from me kind of thing. So that's one of the future things I'm happy about, I think.
Anybody else have something they want to talk about? What you think is going to be positive moving forward with this administration?
I'm looking forward to the first couple days where he just undoes everything that Trump's done that he can, just like seeing, and I'm loving how the petty, like little shade that he throws. And I can't wait to see the first couple weeks where we see, just everything unraveling. And then of course I cannot wait to see him behind bars, because I'm just going to manifest that in my head that Trump goes to jail.
Absolutely.
I feel the same.
Accountability.
I feel the same. I want accountability, and you know what? I'm petty. I want him. I know he probably won't go to jail, but he's gonna come so damn close.
You're gonna drag him.
He's going to jail.
Just to see him get dragged at least a little bit,
Speaking of, his speech, his concession speech, that he was reading that off of the
of course.
He's not going to be no peaceful transition. I can see it already.
Yeah.
They're gonna try something else, and it's not gonna work. And it's gonna be very nice. They're gonna drag him out. They're going to drag him out.
When he said at the very end of that speech, "We have only just begun."
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that was a call to action?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he speaks in code. Sure. That's it.
Yeah,
okay.
Code. Yep.
His supporters sure did. That's what they thought.
And I had something funny to say. Because the grift is in. They're still fundraising, and it's funny because I was talking with somebody today, and get this. They're fundraising. He's taking money from Republicans, and they go to Mar-a-Lago for Christmas, and he's pissed off at the fact that she decorated with the wrong marble or the wrong wood or whatever like that. So I started laughing. It's funny. He's redecorating Mar-a-Lago on the Trump supporters' dime, and he's redoing a country club that they will never ever step foot inside of. They need to see the finality of how Donald Trump ends his political career. You helped him create the life that he's still not allowing you to be a part of.
Yes. All right, you guys, we are at time right now. It's been a great show. We've had so much to talk about. I couldn't even get to half the clips because we were talking too much.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
it was my big mouth. I'm sorry.
No, that's why I invited all you guys here, because I need big mouths. So I want everyone to go around. I want everyone to go around and plug your page and say your name and let everyone know where they can find you on your handle or on your platforms. Let's start with the Big Weird Mom.
All right. Well, I am the Big Weird Mom on TikTok, and I'm kind of trying to push people over to Instagram too. That's also my, I post content there as well. And most of my videos have this screaming in the background. So if you can't handle that, we can't be friends.
I love it. All right. Next, we have Jonathan from Some People Like It.
I love that. I do have cute dogs, no children. Jonathan, Some People Like It across all platforms. If you find one of my pages, I have a beacons link that has a link to all my sites. I just started on Twitch live streaming. I sometimes have guests like Maggie and Ant on. I have other big TikTokers on. So check me out on all platforms. I've been doing a lot more streaming because it's fun. I like it. I like talking to people like this. So check me out. Twitter, TikTok.
Oh God, he broke.
Oh no,
he disappeared.
Oh, poor Jonathan.
He's been raptured.
TikTok.
Oh.
Back.
Oh.
You're back now. You're back.
Okay. Are you there, Jonathan? Are you there?
Did y'all not
Jonathan?
see me? Am I gone?
You froze.
Oh, damn it. Did I look good when I was froze?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
All I care about was it a good pose.
All right. Next, we have Mr. Jahko.
So you can find me on TikTok _Mr. Jahko. On Instagram, JAH_KORI. And I'm also starting a YouTube channel. I didn't have any content up yet, but supposedly I'm thinking of putting up my songs there because I'm trying to separate the content that I do because I do so much. I do rap, I do poetry, I do art, it's just too much. And I do Black history on top to top it all off. I talk about politics like I'm the Renaissance Black man. There you go.
Yeah. And we love you for it.
Nice.
Love your content.
Nice.
Lord Timothais.
Hi again. I'm Lord Timothais. Follow me across all platforms at Lord Timothais. I have my nonprofit organization, TimmyNationInc.org, where you can send racial content that offends you and that should be drawn to our attention to get removed. Most likely where there's fuel, there's fire with these people. And that's what we do there. My YouTube channel is just more like Mr. Jahko says, the election is won. We did it. We're blue. So now I need to try to transition from politics, which I will never fully do, but into other things, like growing my beard back. Who knows?
It looks
thanks
great.
for watching. Oh, thanks. This is me. You'll never
I love
see
it.
Listen, I'll never shave it again. I don't like to. I don't like to see that. I need to hide behind my beard. No pun intended.
You look good, man. You look good.
No, I saw yours and I got immediately jealous.
All right, next we have the BrainDaddy YT.
I'm sorry, one more thing too. Listen, I like all of your stuff I find, and I think it's important for me to say, Mr. Jahko, dude, you're the future. Your stuff is amazing. And all of Maggie, you know how I feel about you. All of your stuff is amazing, 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 amazing.
Thank you.
Well, right back at you, babe. We love you.
Same.
Thank you.
All right, next we've got BrainDaddy YT. Or my dude. What is your other handle again?
I'm not my dude.
No, my handle or my.
Oh, good Lord. Let me say it. It's,
okay.
Hey, bud, you good? Yeah.
There you go.
I changed my name temporarily to those who don't know because a slew of teenagers were attacking me and threatening my life. So I needed to, go incognito for a month. But I'll be going back to the BrainDaddy YT once I'm allowed to do another name again. So word to the wise, don't duet teenagers who don't look like teenagers because they will come after you for a very long time. Yeah, so I make political stuff, sometimes funny. Yeah, this is an awkward transition. I hate this part.
Keep rolling with it.
I hate this part. I'm Mike. So yeah, that's me. Okay, bye.
All right, and next we have the American Moderate, or AMP.
All right. So mine's pretty simple. It's the American Moderate on Twitch. It's the American Moderate Party on YouTube. So if you look up the American Moderate and then you see AMP, you'll see the logo. That is, I'm on just about every platform at this point, but I've really just primarily focused on TikTok. And I do want to add one wish that I have is to see the SDNY prosecution of Donald Trump.
Yes.
I cannot wait for that to start. So
I second that. I think we all have that wish. And, 2021 has gotten off to a really interesting start. So let's hope for better days. Thank you guys for coming. I'm Mermaidmama Maggie, or Maggie Reed. It was a pleasure to have you here today. And thank you all so much. You are brilliant and wonderful TikTokers. I adore you all. So with that, I'm going to leave us on a final clip. Let's look forward to Inauguration. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Everybody give a wave because we're not coming back. But you guys can stay here in the green room if you want to stick around after the show. All right. Bye, guys.